Joining me on the line, as he does every Friday on the show, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is on the line. Okay, truth be told, again, Mike is on vacation, but he is graciously coming on with us this week. It is Thursday at about 10:30 when we're recording, so whatever happens out, there'll probably be some giant breaking news story here in a little bit involving Johnny Depp or something, you know?
Mothra will come to the legal proceedings and clear Johnny Depp and mention Amber Heard's defamatory comments against Godzilla.
You know what? There was I saw a meme the other day, and it was Johnny Depp in character as Jack Sparrow, and then her character from Aquaman facing off. I'm like, I want to see that movie.
That would have been a very interesting possibility if it wasn't for the real life ramifications. I mean, meme-wise, that's hysterical, but it's. I guess we should just start off on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation suit is currently happening in Virginia. To the TLDR of it all is Amber Heard wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post, and while it wasn't specifically naming Johnny Depp, he felt that it was basically speaking out against him in her viewpoint of how their now failed marriage went. And it's interesting. We'll just say interesting to say the least, because all these revelations that have been coming out it's just wild. It's one of those things where you talk about it very carefully just because of the nature of what's going on, and also we can't possibly know everything that's gone on between these two because it's private life, public opinion.
Well, the other thing about it, I don't want to say something today because this isn't going to go up until tomorrow, obviously, so I don't want to be a day behind on it and everybody's like, well, you idiots. So we'll just leave it at that. When you get back into town and this thing is a little bit more towards the end, we'll really dive into it and try and figure out what's going on. We had a little bit of a conversation off air, but I'd rather save it for when we know a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to talk about, and if you're a more contemporary outlet that can keep up with this stuff on a daily, almost hourly basis, because I've looked at, I've sort of kept an eye on this since the opening arguments last week, because over at Cinemablend, we're interested in covering it because it's, massive news that everyone is going to want to read about.
Yeah.
And just seeing how Deadline had like hourly updates or like periodic updates, because I guess it's also being broadcast on TV on like one of the court channels. Like they're keeping up with all this as it's happening and then breaking the details that come out.
Yeah.
And I know in the past couple of days there was even something about, I think Amber Heard was at like a party with Kevin Nash. I thought I heard that.
Of Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash.
The wrestler?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where I saw the headline in passing and it's like, I really want to read an account of all of the stuff that comes out of this, and just because it is very interesting to see how it's turning.
The movie, when all this is said and done, is going to be interesting.
Yeah, if someone decides to do that, because it doesn't feel like that's a given anymore, but it would be very interesting to see if someone does make a movie of all this.
Oh, dude, they're going to totally make a movie of all this. You watch. Trust the B-sox.
Yes, I do trust the B-sox.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. All right, let's get to the movie reviews for the week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but there is some other movie news out there that we want to go over. And apparently there is a map of dinosaurs out there, which Iowa is now infected with some kind of small lizardy creature. But anyways, first up on the list this week, what do we got?
Well, I'll talk about the movie that I've actually seen this week. There's 3 wide releases, and I have seen The Northman from Robert Eggers, which is, I believe, go on.
I was just going to say, this is a movie that I want to believe in it, and it looks kind of cool, and like the whole Viking thing, and, it's like, and there's just something about me that's like, this is going to fail miserably.
No, it actually is pretty cool.
Is it?
No, yeah. I mean, I will go on the record as saying I have never been a huge fan of Robert Eggers, because while I appreciate his style and the fact that he goes for it, I was not a fan of The Witch, except for the fact that Anya Taylor-Joy was bound to be a star, and I will stand by that. Like, day one,
Okay.
she completely killed it in that movie. Also, I like Black Phillip the Goat, the demonic goat. Yes, you heard that correctly, folks. And then The Lighthouse, I think maybe I just have to maybe go back and watch them, because these are just movies that I feel like should have been for me, but then I watch them and it's like, eh. But The Northman actually is pretty cool, and it is it is a loose retelling of folklore that was one of the inspirations for Hamlet, and may have inspired other Shakespearean works, because there's a little bit of Macbeth in there. But it is basically young prince's father is killed by his uncle. He flees the kingdom and tries to come back years later to seek revenge.
Perfect. What else do you need?
That young Alexander Skarsgård wearing barely anything and showing off like absolutely ripped abs. Ethan Hawke and the younger incarnation of his character drinking hallucinogenic water like dogs in front of Willem Dafoe, who's like their sort of like spiritual leader, so to speak. Like he's kind of like, if you're going to go by Lion King, he's kind of like a Rafiki in the sense.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy killing it again. Yeah. Great sword fights, beautiful visuals. It is, in fact, what's really funny is one of my coworkers at Cinemablend, they asked him for a pull quote because he was like over the moon for the movie. It's and he gave them, they asked him for the pull quote and he approved of it. Holy shit. So if you watch some of the trailers for this, there is a shot of a volcano, there's this holy shit in front of it, but it's like, they obviously put the asterisk in to censor shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, holy shit, Cinemablend. And it's like, that is one of the best pull quotes we've ever gotten. I am in awe of that.
That's awesome.
I mean,
well, real quick, when I started looking at the cast for this, like, it's got a big cast. You know what all of a sudden it reminded me of?
What?
Do you remember In the Name of the King?
Oh, I remember. I never saw it, but I remember it. One of the Uwe Boll movies that was like a dungeon. Wasn't it adapting Dungeon Siege?
I guess, I don't know. It had Jason Statham and all these other like names, and Burt Reynolds was the king.
Burt Reynolds as a king.
It's one of the few movies I've ever walked out of.
Oh, yeah, it's an Uwe Boll movie.
I have no idea what happened in it or whatever, but I started looking at the cast for this. I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of craziness here. It's In the Name of the King, but maybe good.
Happens. Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's putting it mildly, but it's like, yeah, what if you assembled a really good cast and did a good movie? And yeah, it's like, it's oh man, it's so much fun. Nicole Kidman's in there too, is the queen, and yeah, it's so like it's visually lush, and they apparently they trimmed the movie down a little bit, because I was reading in I think it was a New Yorker profile they did with Robert Eggers. The studio was like, yeah, we need to get things moving a little faster here. And I could sense that especially the first act was trimmed, but it doesn't sacrifice anything.
Okay.
However, after enjoying this movie, it's like, I want to watch the extended cut of this. It is full out epic folklore. They do not skimp on anything. It is just a delight that this movie even exists.
Nice.
And I tip my hat to Robert Eggers. Focus Features, or I forget whoever was behind his Nosferatu remake that was going to happen. That needs to happen. Uncancel it right now.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies. That's the Northman. What are the other wide releases? I know you haven't seen them, but...
So we'll go with, we'll switch to something for the family this week. There is a movie coming out called The Bad Guys.
Oh.
Which is based on a book. Yeah, it's based on a series of children's books. And I want to see this. I want to see this very badly because it looks like so much fun.
We have the books, and I've tried reading them to the kid before, and they're kind of dumb. Even by kids' book standards, it's not one of my favorites.
And I'm hoping that that's something the movie kind of kicks to the curb, because the movie looks like it's basically doing Ocean's 11 with the big bad wolf voiced by Sam Rockwell. Only they're trying to become good guys. They're trying to go straight. And another all-star cast, because you've got Awkwafina, Mark Maron, I think Ron Funches is in there, Anthony Ramos, Lily Singh. Like, there's a real Richard Ayoade, like a really good cast of voices in here. And between the trailers, and I actually listened to the score the other week just for fun while working. And like, if I can say anything about this movie, the score by Daniel Pemberton is the stuff of like heist movie extraordinaires. It sounds so delicious. And he's also the man who did the music for Spider-Verse.
Interesting. All right, so the bad guys coming out this weekend. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. What was the other one?
I wish we could see this next movie together because I feel like it would be something that we would have to go out, get a couple beers, and enjoy.
Okay.
Because this weekend, after all of the hype, Nick Cage is finally in theaters with The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and I keep hearing that this movie is delicious. I keep hearing that he and Pedro Pascal together are brilliant. And they keep showing they put up a clip yesterday, Lionsgate put up a clip yesterday, where apparently there's a scene that Nick Cage is like putting down Paddington a little bit, and Pedro Pascal's character is like, "You've never seen Paddington 2?" And then cut to a couple seconds later, Nick Cage says something along the lines of, "Paddington 2 was brilliant," and he's like, "I know, right?" So yeah, the basic story. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say the whole thing of Nick Cage playing a character version of Nick Cage with Pedro Pascal. I don't really care what the movie's about. I'm okay with it.
And I think that's basically what they've been selling the movie on. And also the slightest, most subtle of differences, besides the fact that in the movie, I believe he has a daughter when he has two sons in real life, is the fact that he spells his name with a K. So it's Nick with a K, Cage. And I didn't notice that until I saw some of the official marketing handles were spelling it that way. And it's like, so this is how we separate this multiverse from our own.
Cage also portrays Nicky Cage, a figment of Cage's imagination. Oh God.
Ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals, if there's anything that you need, if you need any more to sell you on this film other than the sentences we've uttered here, I don't know what it is. And I have not seen this film. B-sox has not seen this film. But at the same time, it's Nick Cage, and when he really juices into something like this, which from what it looks like he totally did, that means it is worth at least giving it a shot. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent in theaters this weekend.
You know what's too bad? My wife hates Nick Cage.
That is too bad, because I don't know why she'd deny herself such joy.
I don't know, but he's still one of my favorite movies. Is one of his, and it's Face Off.
Oh, we could do a whole show on Face Off.
Face Off.
I remember reading the novelization and then going to visit my father, and snuck in after Men in Black to go see it, and I was just blown away.
I love Castor Troy is one of my favorite bad guys ever.
Yes, and it just first 10 minutes of that movie, he proves he is a bastard. But he's going to be your bastard for the next 2 hours.
I still do the thing at random, and it makes people laugh, but I'll be walking around, and all of a sudden I'll jump, and I'll clap, and I'll do the head bang that he does at the very beginning.
Which I am sure was improv.
Oh, it had to be. But anyways, all right, so The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent looks amazing. I can't wait to hear what you say about it. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see it. It's nice to see. And Nick Cage is another one of those guys where, for a little while, everybody went to rag on him as a weirdo, or, yeah, he's only taking these movies because he's paying off his taxes. But say what you will about the stuff he's done, he shows up.
Yeah.
And he isn't just sleepwalking through it. He did have taxes to pay off. He's gone through a rough spot in life. But, I've never heard anything about him being an abuser or a creepo. And he's been unlucky in love. And it's like, you know what? Considering some of the people that we've seen in this business, I don't think it's bad to root for Nick Cage.
All right, let me propose an idea for a movie for you real quick.
Oh, I'm good for this. Let's hear it.
A brother movie between Nick Cage on one side is one brother, Keanu Reeves is the other brother.
I think you'd get that greenlit with a $50 million budget, and you might even get award talk.
And
in fact, I would not be surprised if Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent somehow gets Nick Cage one of those rare comedy nominations. Because it sounds like there's so much buzz around this that's possible.
But you know what? You could do an endless supply of sequels to that, and they would always be good.
If you go into it the right way.
I mean,
because it's very easy to just say you could do so many sequels, but if you really have to have the right idea.
All right, what if you did 3 and you made it like the third one wraps up like Harold and Kumar?
He just winds up at a White Castle?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know, but
Nick Cage goes to White Castle.
Is Nick Cage out of his?
Harold Kumar and Nick Cage go to White Castle.
Nick Cage and Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris is in this movie. He's Xavier.
I know, but a buddy film between. How about a new bachelor party movie with Nick Cage, Keanu Reeves, and Neil Patrick Harris?
I think you need to bring in Tom Hanks, and that's the deal.
Tom Hanks is the dad. Well, he's not old enough to be Nick Cage's dad.
No, but he could be his brother. Tom Hanks and Nick Cage should work together at some point. I feel like that'd be nice.
Oh, that'd be an interesting podcast. Team-ups that have never happened in movies.
Yeah, we got bonus episodes here, man. We got bonus episodes.
That will never do.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to, I would be glad to.
I know. I mean,
talk that out.
You are on vacation and you're talking to me. But anyways, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me. All right, so going over to the world of movie news, other than the Johnny Depp stuff, the big one that came out was, is it true that it's because of Morbius that it got pushed back?
Spider-Verse?
Yes.
I don't know. Being on vacation, I am not very sure. I'm not sure why Spider-Verse got pushed back. The only thing I know is I saw it on the internet and I became immediately upset because this was supposed to be out this October. Every time, honestly, when I went and saw Morbius, I should have expected that they were going to show the trailer, but I didn't expect it. So it was a wonderful little surprise when they showed the trailer for Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
And you know something? It's one of those trailers that I think no matter how many times I see it, it is going to always take my breath away and make me very excited because the most exciting thing for me in the MCU right now is Loki and Spider-Verse. And to see all that new and exciting stuff teased and then to just get that part 1 at the end where it's like, yes, there's going to be 2 of these. But Spider-Verse got pushed to next June 2023, and then Spider-Verse 2 is pushed to, Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 is next year. Across the Spider-Verse Part 2 is March 2024.
Because it wasn't even like a little push. It was like a whole 6 months.
Well, a whole bunch of stuff got pushed on the Sony schedule. But honestly, I think maybe part of it might have been they may just honestly need more time to perfect this. And I am fine with that. I'm put my practical hat on here. I'm perfectly fine with that because Spider-Verse 1 is something that they were always going to make a sequel to, but it's something that should not be sequelized lightly. It's something that's like, okay, you're going to attack this again. It needs to have a fun, clear vision, and it needs to be that good. If they need more time, I'm perfectly fine with that. As a fan who is really looking forward to going to see that later this year, I'm not very happy. But obviously, you meet in the middle of the two, and it's just, you know what, quality is quality. I can wait.
Yeah, the only reason I asked about the one part of it is because the first article I saw about it, and I can't remember, it was right when I got up, but it was Spider-Verse push due to Morbius tanking.
Now, who wrote that?
I don't know. I was in a haze when I woke up and I saw it, and the only thing I retained was Spider-Verse pushed, Morbius tanked.
Let's see if I can find something about that.
So that's why I was asking, because you're the movie expert and I'm just the
You're a radio guy who does not always follow movies as closely as I do because it is not part of your purview.
No, I'm just talking about it because I'm the everyman fan.
Exactly, and we need more of those out there.
So
look, as much as I enjoy being an expert in fields and I love deep dives from experts, I also like reading stuff that's accessible to me because I don't always follow comic movie stuff. So I need something to help catch me up. And that's, we need everybody needs to listen to each other, plain and simple.
Yeah, it is. But it's also, I think from the everyman stance, I think that I don't think Hollywood always listens to its fans in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we're gonna do it this way and they're gonna love it. It's like, no, they're not. I mean, if you take a step back, and I mean, whoever thought that they could get away with doing Deadpool the way they did it the first time, that's obviously someone not listening to what their fans are gonna want.
Or Venom.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, we got to put more in there. No, you don't. You just have to, anyways. Or I could bring up Doomsday and Batman v Superman, but whatever. Mike Reyes, what a waste of a character. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line right now. As we kind of get towards the end here, you sent me this map. Jurassic World put out a North America dinosaur sightings map, which is kind of funny. And you know what I didn't realize when I thought it was going east to west. I didn't realize it was going west to east. And that's why Iowa has dinosaurs.
Yep. Colin Trevorrow, the co-writer and director of Jurassic World Dominion, who was also the director of Jurassic World. And, he's genuinely been like an executive producer through other parts of the franchise he hasn't worked on. Put out a map today on Twitter and said it's a problem. And the map is North American dinosaur sighting. So spoilers for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, if you haven't already seen it. The dinosaurs are let loose on the continental United States. And now we've seen shorts and marketing material that's basically shown that it is definitely a problem. And the furthest east from west to east, the furthest east you will find a dinosaur is in Illinois, which has a bit of a pterodactyl infestation. This almost reads like a weather report. It's like, brace yourselves, Iowa. There are gallimimuses and compsognathus in your state, but if you're heading to Minnesota for safety, there are pterodactyls, so good luck there. The best bet for you is to head over to Wisconsin, where there are no dinosaurs. Wisconsin, or if you can get to Missouri, Arkansas.
Well, that's what's kind of surprising about this. I thought there'd be more to the south just because of the weather. That
is definitely an interesting assumption, and I do agree with that. I mean, I'm not like a scientific dinosaur expert. I'm only a movie dinosaur expert. But you would. I think that's basically why these animals are headquartered where they are, because they were let loose in California. So, the Pacific Northwest, the Pacific is just going to be desert and trees. That's going to be like their happy place.
Yeah.
But then you sort of start to see them like in drips and drabs out in the Midwest. And like the furthest south is Texas, the furthest east is Illinois and the Missouri area. But nothing on like you're like Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri eastward. Nothing. Like I was hoping for some sort of dinosaurs in New Jersey, but no dinosaurs in New Jersey. So I'm going to have to book a trip to Oregon to see the only living tyrannosaur.
Can you imagine? Just stop for a second and think. If you lived in a world where dinosaurs were real and you were in the area where the T-Rex was.
Oh, yeah. Well, as we've seen in the prologue short that they released, you can't go to the drive-in without Roberta crashing the double feature of American Graffiti and Flash Gordon.
There was I want to say it was on Discovery. It was a couple years ago. Did you ever see the thing where they were like, it was basically like if dinosaurs never went extinct type thing?
No, but now I have to.
And it was... It was like they were figuring out, like they were trying to figure out how they would incorporate into like everyday life. So they were, herding certain dinosaurs like cows and, that sort of thing. Like it was living among dinosaurs. I can't remember what it was entitled though.
Huh.
But
I vaguely remember this, but I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that it sounded better than it actually was type things, I think. So,
yeah, like the World Without People one that History did a couple years ago.
I actually really like that.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw part of it, but I was just saying, like, it's kind of one of those things where, like, the concept sounds great, but it still has the potential that people watch it, it's like, eh.
Well, what always gets those is the animation. It's either really good or really horrible. But, The World Without People, that was always kind of interesting to me on how quick, and boy, you want to go down a path that isn't related to movies where, they're like, within a certain amount of time, you never know there was a civilization here because concrete breaks down and metal and all this. And it's like, the earth is like 4.5 billion years old. And we've been around for like 100,000 of it,
Yeah, we're a blip.
So anyways,
there's one more thing I want to mention before we go.
Okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. We will sidestep the very deep conversation.
Oh, no, I just wanted to put a pin in that and keep the conversation going.
No, this isn't the place for that conversation. It really isn't.
Well, it's still going to get deep because this week we lost a legend in the world of stage and screen. Robert Morse passed away at the age of 90. And one of the things he was most widely known for was he was in the original production of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, as well as the film version. But modern audiences would best know him as Bert Cooper from Mad Men.
Which I still have never seen any Mad Men.
Mad Men is a brilliant show, and I finally mainlined it last year. Started in the summer because a friend of mine was having a a 1960s themed birthday party. So my wife's like, oh, we could start watching it and like get, outfit inspiration. But also we'd meant to watch the show. And then I had gotten to like season 3 the first time I watched it, and then for some reason didn't pick it up. Finally finished it this time, and it really is the best. It is like a novel being played out over 7 seasons. And it was something that I needed to devour, and it is one of my favorite shows. And one of the best characters was Bert Cooper, Robert Morse's character, who's a sort of behind the times elder statesman at this ad agency, but he did come in at very crucial times with either a firm hand or a fatherly touch, because there's certain things that he goes through with John Hamm's character, Don Draper, where he either needs to give him the carrot or give him the stick. And it's for a man that really didn't have a strong father figure growing up, Don had a strong father in Bert going through the company. And his final scene in the show is all the more bittersweet now, because he was such a song and dance man that they gave him a big song and dance number to close out his tenure on the show. And it's he had a great run, obviously, with all the accomplishments that he had racked up, but I just thought that was worth mentioning, that another legend.
A lot of Alfred Hitchcock stuff and Twilight Zone type stuff.
Yeah, like he came up through the golden ages.
Tales of the Unexpected, Dukes of Hazzard. He had some voice work, Tiny Toons, Teen Titans Go. You know who he was in that?
Who was he in Teen Titans Go?
Santa Claus.
He would have, you know what? He sounds like he would have been a great Santa.
I'm just looking at Superman the Animated Series, Pound Puppies. He was Howler in Pound Puppies.
The 80s one or the newer one?
86, 87. He was in 25 episodes.
Oh, wow. The original, Selling the Toys series.
Yeah. Fall Guy, Masquerade.
He's one of those actors where it really is amazing to take a look at his resume. And still, him as he's talented, he's amazing as Bert Cooper. But then you look at all this other stuff and it's like, wow, he really was just a jack of all trades.
Absolutely. Well, Robert Morse, we wish you nothing but the best in the great beyond. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies and such. Mike, we'll let you get back to your vacation. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, man. I always like talking to you.